So there seems to be this growing trend of videos I've been seeing of people discussing whether or not it's worth getting a computer science degree in big 2024. You know, like these videos by like these ex-Fang whatever YouTubers who have like it's over, it's so fucking over in the thumbnail or the title or whatever. But the actual video itself would be just some like cookie cutter advice they give, you know, just to like stay optimistic and try your hardest or whatever, right? But what's honestly more interesting than any of these fucking videos is the comment section itself, and how it's filled with people talking about their own experiences when it comes to job hunting after school, or when it comes to choosing a different major, when it comes to choosing a different career path and all this shit, right? But overall, it seems like there's a lot of growing discontent and just general pessimism or cynicism when it comes to computer science students or people looking to get into the field in the first place, right? And it's for like a few different reasons why. I mean, the job market is obviously not the best right now. Not even just in terms of like software engineering stuff, but just just like in general. Like a lot of people are really struggling to find like entry-level career jobs to get into to start building their career. But as it relates to software engineering specifically, there are a few specific reasons that people talk about commonly when it comes to why things are the way they are now. Probably the strongest and most like talked about thing is just how oversaturated the field is. I mean, you know, anybody like who wants to do a STEM degree, their default option pretty much is computer science. I mean, I got friends who are CS majors, half my classmates are CS majors. The fucking guy who shot that CEO was a CS major. Like, it's anybody who was told to go to college and get a degree to get a job. Like, for the past 20 years, they've just been choosing computer science as their default major because that's the trend that was in at the time, right? And well, according to like the Bureau of Labor, software engineering jobs are still growing rapidly and are projected to grow rapidly over the next decade or so. There are still definitely way more people holding a CS degree than is really needed, you know. And I think the silver lining here when it comes to talking about oversaturation with computer science is that these people, like the average fucking guy who holds like a CS degree just out of college, is probably not like that good. Let's be honest. Like they're probably like spent, you know, a few years messing around in some programming languages like Python or maybe like C++ or Java or JavaScript. Maybe they did like a project at best, something kind of small and easy to do, like something you could follow a YouTube tutorial for and, you know, pretty much just pump out in like a week. But, you know, the point is like the vast majority of people holding a CS degree probably aren't as competent as you think they are, right? You know, but the issue is though is that regardless of how competent they are, they're still going to be applying to the same jobs as you, and they're still going to have just as much professional experience as you, even if you are like a fucking genius 200 IQ, like whatever the fuck, you know. You still gotta compete with them to get a job. And obviously this is where something like networking or having, you know, contacts in a company, a friend of a friend or whatever the fuck, or projects and shit you can show off will come in handy when it comes to sticking out of the crowd and showing off your resume, right? But I think the underlying point is that most people going into computer science, or just college in general, typically don't really have a plan, right? They just think they're gonna get a degree, they're gonna learn everything they need to learn, and they're gonna, you know, life is just gonna happen, and they're gonna get a job, and they're gonna make good money, and it's gonna be like a happy ending, right? Which, for some people, it is just like that. Maybe just because their personalities are more tailored to like being successful in the world or some shit, I don't know. But also for a lot of people it's just, you know, you go to college, for people who get like a lot of different degrees, right? They get their degree, they start applying to a bunch of jobs, they can't really get anywhere, and they just sort of, you know, just like rot away or like even turn to like minimum wage work just to pay the bills in the meantime. I mean, the whole picture is just kind of fucking demoralizing when you realize that like, or when you like convince yourself that everything you've done for like the past few years, the thousands of dollars you put into school and shit, was completely worthless, right? But I really don't think that's the case. I think that there are a lot of things you can do while you're in college to minimize these types of outcomes. One of like the main big things is actually knowing what you want to do as like a job, like what you actually want to work on, right? Like a lot of people, like bringing it back to computer science, a lot of fucking people they graduate and they have no idea how to really build or do anything related to software in any domain of software engineering. They don't know if they want to do web development. They don't know if they want to do embedded development. They don't know if they want to do like iOS like app development, or they don't want they don't know if they want to do like research into whatever fucking like faster networking algorithms or some shit, or they want to do data science and machine learning, which is really hot right now, or whatever the fuck, you know. They just come out the other side with a degree and expecting to get like a six-figure salary just knowing like basic programming stuff anybody can learn in a YouTube tutorial, which is just not how it works, you know. At least not for like a lot of people. I mean, actually go online, go on like a job board, or go just even on Google, right? Just type in like software engineering jobs near me. Like see what jobs people are paying for or offering in your own local area. See what skills are actually in demand according to whatever job listings there are in your own local area. Typically, in those job listings, you're going to find certain requirements such as knowledge in a certain programming language, experience with a certain framework, experience with a certain technology or operating system or development environment, right? And learning those skills and actually like tailoring your experience and your skill set towards, you know, a certain domain of software engineering according to what you see in certain job listings that are in demand will probably give you better outcomes, right? I mean, a lot of the learning you need to do to actually be desired by a certain company or any person looking to employ you is usually going to be done outside of the classroom. Because I mean, college is really useful for two things. It's useful for getting that piece of paper at the end that says, hey, you can go out and, you know, not get denied by every single application you send out. And it's also useful for forming nepotistic connections, right? Obviously, some people learn a lot in college and they really appreciate the college educational experience. That's just me personally, though, you know. But apart from oversaturation, there's a couple other sources of anxiety when it comes to this sort of bleak attitude to the job market currently. And one of them is AI, right? One of them is artificial intelligence and the threat of it making programmers or software engineers or anybody working, you know, working on stuff like that on a computer completely obsolete. And you know, I really don't want to get into the whole fucking conversation about, you know, is it gonna replace everyone? Is it gonna, like, everybody's talked about that a million times. Most people will probably agree that no, it's probably not going to replace everyone. Has it been used to some extent to replace like very like junior entry level positions? Is it therefore making it harder to get your foot in the door? Probably, yeah. I would say so, but like with any new innovative like technology like this, actually implementing it and making it work in a company long term is going to be very, very hard, right? Especially now in the current state AI is in, where it can only really solve very basic tasks or problems that have already been solved on the first page of Google for anybody wanting to look them up for the past like 20 years, right? I think at worst it'll probably curb the growth of the job market and make it harder for people to get hired in those, you know, very entry-level positions. But I still think there's going to be plenty of opportunity for people to evolve and adapt with the technology over time and to leverage it to their own advantage. But all in all, it's definitely not the best situation out there for people just getting out of school or who are still in school. I think if you're just going into computer science for the money and you just thought it'd be an easy way to a six-figure salary, I think you might be kind of fucked, not gonna lie. You might be kind of cooked, bro. Like, you probably would just be better picking something you're actually passionate about, or actually, like, have some, like, desire to be skillful in, right? Instead of, like, wasting years of your life doing something, you know, just to get a job doing something you don't even like to do, or you even hate doing. But, if you are actually passionate about this shit and you do want to do it for a living, I think there's definitely a lot of things you can do, like, that I discussed in this video to actually improve your chances. But once again, like, the most important thing is to just be smart and to have, like, an actual plan for employment. And, like, a plan B if that doesn't work out, right? Because, you know, the reason why a lot of people are in this situation to begin with is a bunch of people just told them, oh, just go to college. But, you know, when people found out, like, just going to college didn't really cut it, and then people just said, oh, just get a STEM degree. And then they all just chose, you know, fucking computer science, and now they're starting to realize that just getting a computer science or STEM degree isn't going to automatically fix all their problems or get them a huge, fat-paying job. Now you have a lot of people saying, oh, just go into the trades, and it's still like the same, you know. The trades are like, you know, a good opportunity, like a good viable career path for, different trades and shit, but there's no like one end all be all solution to fucking employment or having a stable, safe career, right? I mean, you just sort of have to analyze your own situation, where you live, and what you want to do, what you would be suited to do, and what skills you already have, right? And actually make a decision based on your own situation, based on your own environment, on what you want to do for a career and how you want to go about it. Because just listening to some blind advice given by some random fucker guy on the internet, or from your parents who were last in your position like 20 years ago, right? 20, 30 years ago, it's probably not going to end up very well for you. Like, you just sort of have to be smart and understand that there's no real job that's like 100% secure. There's no real industry that's going to give you an automatic, easy 6-figure salary. You just sort of have to, like, work out something your own self and try to see if you can leverage whatever skills you have to become very knowledgeable or very useful in some certain sector of a subsector of an industry, right? But, I don't really blame people for having a very pessimistic or cynical view on the shit. Because I'm definitely guilty of that myself. I've definitely questioned what I was, doing with my life multiple times before. Thinking that, just going to school, or like, either school or like my job or fucking the shit I was doing on YouTube was just a huge fucking waste of time. Or, like thinking that I won't be like skilled enough or smart enough to actually get a job, or like at least hold down a job, or like actually have a career in anything. And honestly, I'm not even like 100% sure I want to have like a lifelong career as a software engineer or writing software. I'm honestly not completely sure on that still. I think for the foreseeable future, I would want a job in that just to like support myself and just so I can eat. But I don't really know. I mean, you can get in a fucking car crash tomorrow and just die. And then, all the shit that you were preparing for like the past 2 or 4 years never really came to see the light of day. So you might as well just like do shit that you want to do or think is cool, like now, or at least like to a certain whatever extent you could do it to now.